Coming at you live, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Hey, yo, what's up? It is Saturday night, and this is Nation's Corner. I am Debhausen, and with me I have the very interesting cast of characters. A bunch of misfits. I don't know. Any other adjectives I could use?
They may or may not be broadcast appropriate, but several.
Yeah. All right. So John in South Jersey and Mongrovian Mike, how you guys doing tonight?
Very good. Another
awesome
action-packed week of wrestling and double action. We are some multitasking mofos tonight. We are here live with everyone here in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Also, we are kind of doing a live simulcast, so to speak, of the NXT Deadline event live on Peacock right now from Minneapolis, and we'll be talking about that as well.
What the hell was that?
That was Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's asking me questions here, but you know, I don't know what the hell he expects from me.
Yeah, we don't normally do our show while there is a pay-per-view or PLE on. But we decided for tonight, NXT Deadline is on at our normal time, so we will give live updates during the show. I know you guys are watching it as things happen. Just shout it out if something big happens. While we're going through our normal stuff.
We're live. We're live, pal. We're live and interactive.
We're live.
This is kind of like halfway dipping our toes into live, live reactions with the pay-per-views, and who knows?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So starting off then with the NXT Deadline stuff, what is something that you guys are looking for tonight's show? Like something that you're looking forward to, or like part of the story that you really want to see play out?
First and foremost, one word: underground. Lola Vice versus Jada Parker and the NXT Underground match. Strap in, kids. These two young ladies are going to beat the holy fuck out of each other, and I love it. It is the perfect blow-off for this feud that they have been having, and I can't think of a better way that plays absolutely to Lola's strengths, because those who aren't familiar, her real name is Valerie Loretta, and she was at one time was a top 10 ranked UFC bantamweight MMA fighter. So underground.
John, are you saying that she could possibly be the one person in that locker room that could stretch every single one of those other ladies out?
It's a damn good possibility. It really is.
It's an overused phrase, but it is true. We use it for Shelton Benjamin. We use it for, you always heard the stories about Kurt Angle. Like it was, he'll take you to school if you mess around enough with him. But that's the same thing with Lola.
Overall, man, to talk about hitting on all cylinders, NXT absolutely is. Another absolutely, and I hate to use the word phrase, but a stacked card with a women's and a men's Iron Survivor Challenge matches. Winner gets to challenge for the respective championships. Lola Vice and Jada Parker in the Underground. Tag team titles being defended. Just a real solid show, and I'm looking forward to the whole thing, but especially Lola Vice and Jada Parker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something that I saw on social media just a little bit ago is that something happened with Eddie Thorpe, that he's out for the Iron Survivor Challenge match. Have they announced the replacement for that yet?
No.
Yes, I believe it. I thought Lexis King is.
Lexis?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
I think the King is going to be in it. Yes.
Okay. Well,
so the Iron
he's
Survivor
got nothing
Challenge,
on my Ethan page. So
for anyone who doesn't know the Iron Survivor Challenge, it's a 25-minute time limit with 5 superstars competing to become number 1. You know that part. 2 start the match every 5 minutes after another one enters. Falls can be won via pinfall, submission, disqualification. When they earn that, they get a point. The superstar who loses goes in the cage for 90 seconds, and then they're allowed back out. So that's how it is. So whoever has the most falls at the end of 25 minutes will be named the Iron Survivor. It's a really interesting match. You know, it's a really interesting twist on tournament style match. You know, these kind of matches, and I like it.
And speaking of, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge is starting off the pay-per-view as the first 2 competitors are now entering the ring as Mr. Bouncy himself, the young OG, Javon Evans versus Wes Lee are going to be opening up. So they will start, and the next competitor will come in after 5 minutes of these 2 going at it, which should be highly entertaining. Lots of flipping and flying and flying around, but nice to start off hot.
Yep. And Javon, you're a superstar. You don't have to fanboy out when X-Pac comes and gives you the rub. You know, you don't have to fanboy out with all the superstars, man. You're a superstar yourself, dude. You can do it.
So,
see that he's entering number 1 too tells you that what they have in stock. You know, the stock that they have in this young kid.
Yeah.
So before we move on from Deadline, I want to get your thoughts on the Ridge Holland stuff. Ridge Holland was on Busted Open the other day and just didn't seemingly want to talk to Dave. He only spoke to the great Nick Nemeth. So yeah, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on not only the championship match happening tonight with Trick versus Ridge, but all the other stuff that's going on involving Dave and Busted Open. So, John?
Well, my first thought is to Ridge Holland, you're welcome, because nobody was really talking about you until this.
It's very true.
You know,
well, they were when he put Big E out. You know,
well,
that's the only time
that
anybody
aside,
else was talking about him.
That aside, you know, all I gotta say is, like The Rock sings, all I want to say is you're welcome.
Hashtag cringe Holland.
Yeah. But
I mean, Dave himself said it. He thought his name was Rich.
Yes.
Like, I didn't even know who you were. I thought your name was Rich.
I don't, you know, and it's not that I have any stock or skin in the game with Trick, because if Trick is gone, then we don't have to hear Booker T. So,
well,
I'm kind of hoping
hoping
that Ridge Holland just takes out Booker T through the table first, and then takes care of Trick.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, he would.
So
at least a chop to the throat.
I think what it shows is that, you know, WWE, not just NXT, recognizes the power of Busted Open and how they can, you know, WWE across the board, across all brands, does an amazing job, especially with the social media, with TikTok.
Breaking news. Brooke is chasing the hug on from Dad.
She is. Now you interrupt my thoughts now, but I will do it. All right. Christmas came a little early, courtesy of Florida and my lovely daughter, Brooke. But in case you weren't aware, it is now official. After 7 years of asking for it, by God, I am a Paul Heyman guy.
Yes, you are.
Yes. And also, I got a very, very cool, and I can't reach it at the moment. It's over here on the other side of the room. A Terror Twins, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest tag team t-shirt, which is very cool as well.
Incredible gifts, Brooke.
Thank you, Brooke. I love you. And thank you for finally listening to me. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Brooke, and the students that piss your dad off, thank you, because I think they have like maybe a day and a half reprieve from any hammers being thrown at them.
Hey, Monday is another day. That don't count on weekends. Monday is another day. Monday is another day. But anyway, just real quick,
go ahead.
Real quick. WWE does such a great job with all the social medias, and this is just another way that they're using outside of promos, outside of anything, on their programming to get a story across, get us interested in something. Because, all right, if Ridge does beat Trick tonight, he's new champ. But this whole thing about what he did to Bully and Dave at the last live PLE and subsequently along the way, that isn't going away. So where does that lead to? And where does it go with Ridge as NXT champion?
Right.
So stay tuned.
Right. Mongrovian, thoughts?
Yeah, you know my thoughts. I don't care what he does to Trick, but he disrespected our fearless leader and the show that we love. So I wouldn't mind if Bully came out and put him through a flaming table. But
yes,
that's my thoughts.
So I have to say, along with that, you guys know I don't watch NXT weekly. I tune in here and there for some segments that I particularly want to see. But Tuesday is like the only day of the week that I don't watch wrestling. So we spend Tuesday nights watching other stuff. However,
there's other stuff.
Way to go work the gimmick, Nick. Way to keep the gimmick up. You don't watch wrestling on Tuesdays. That sounds familiar. Anyway. Yeah.
However,
she's famously known. She's famously known for not watching wrestling.
Exactly. So, since Bully has been doing Busted Open After Dark on Tuesdays, I love listening to Busted Open After Dark on Tuesdays, even though it's about a show that I don't even watch. And the interviews he's been doing are great. It is awesome having him like in location at the Performance Center. It is so cool. So that's just a testament to Busted Open and especially Bully and what he's been doing, that like I will listen to Busted Open After Dark on a Tuesday, even though I don't watch NXT, and the show is about NXT, interviewing their talent. Incredible interviews, by the way. They've all been so good.
Yeah.
But I am very much looking forward to seeing what might be in store when Ridge meets face to face with Bully the next time on Busted Open After Dark, likely. What is that?
What? What? Anywho, just
my
real
screen.
Quick.
It's not me. It's our new production crew.
It just zoomed in on Nick's face randomly.
And I guess we're giving a pod swag plug here because the nativity team flag for Busted Open for the holidays, which is appropriate. But anyway,
so
real quick,
Mongrovian's camera is possessed tonight.
Yes. We have to talk to our cameraman.
Little Elf Leo riding in on Bobby.
Oh my god, that was so funny. It keeps zooming in on Nick's face.
Real quick update on.
He's getting mad too.
Update on Deadline. The third member in is Nathan Frazier. Came in like a house of fire, so now you have 3 flyers in there, and that's exactly what they are doing.
Okay.
But
awesome.
So far, very entertaining, and I'm very curious to see because they still haven't they have a graphic at the bottom of who has falls and whatever, because that's the whole idea. Most falls wins.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
only 4.
Wesley got 1. Wesley has 1.
But there's only 4 names, and there's 5 guys in the contest, so they haven't even officially it said who's the fifth person. So I guess we'll have to find out. But anywho, back to regular scheduled programming.
So, so keeping on the WWE subject, then last weekend we had WarGames Survivor Series, and we had a pretty eventful week on specifically Raw. So I wore my New Day shirt tonight. So that the New Day is, I think, kind of one of the biggest topics of the week. So we have to talk about it, especially since I am a longtime New Day fan. I love these guys. And God, I don't even know where to start. So they come out, and I think we kind of were mostly expecting, like, you know, there's been this conflict between Kofi and Xavier. I think we were mostly expecting, like, E to come in and say, like, hey guys, I don't like that you've been fighting. We're better when we're together, the three of us, blah, blah, blah. Create some unity. I don't think anybody expected that the unity that would be created would be Kofi and Xavier against Big E. I don't think anybody expected it to go that way. And my heart was broken, guys. My heart was broken.
My only statement, real quick on all this is get Kofi and Xavier. If they don't come out wearing salmon jackets next week on Raw, what are we doing? Because that's exactly what they did. They out Mark Henry.
Yes.
Never trust the color salmon, people. I'm telling you. Ever since Mark Henry did that to us in that salmon jacket, I said I'll never trust the color salmon again.
You never know which way that worm is going to turn in that apple, man. You never know which way.
So one of the things, upon reflecting on it all week, not only in the moment, but afterwards, as I kind of, like, I listened to other podcasts throughout the week and kind of heard what everybody else's reactions were. I think a lot of fans have been invested in the New Day as a team for so long. They've been kind of like the ultimate baby faces for so long. Kids love them. Everybody loves them. And I think this really showed kind of how the three of them are incredibly talented in a multitude of ways. I mean, like Front Row said in the chat, Big E had everyone in their feelings. Like his facial expressions were just exquisite. And I just, there's been a lot of chatter, I don't know, maybe the last year or two, about like the New Day needs to figure something else out since Big E wasn't there anymore. Like they were kind of getting stale. What else are they going to do? But nobody really wanted to see them break up. It was kind of like there was a standstill. And yeah, I just don't think anyone expected it to go this way, and that it is going to bring new life to these personalities in a way that we didn't expect.
Well,
yeah, go.
All I'm going to say is we have all heard about for years and years now and still haven't seen it. But the quote unquote John Cena heel turn. That's what this level of turn was, honestly. You know, Big E, absolutely beloved. The New Day as a trio, absolutely beloved. You know, so many great matches, moments, championships. You know, a lot of equity, a lot of fan equity. And Kofi and Xavier just turned around and doused it with lighter fluid and struck a match. And none of us saw it coming. None of us, we were going one way, and they took us totally in a different direction.
You know, beforehand, if you were told oh, Kofi's turning heel. We're all like, what the hell is he going to do? Nobody's going to boo that man ever.
Right.
But they found out a way. You broke your neck. So what?
All you have to do is say you broke your neck.
Your
So
neck,
what?
so what? Yeah.
Kurt Angle broke his neck.
neck.
Stone Cold Steve Austin broke his neck.
Edge broke his neck. He came back 10 years later.
You know, he had that held a little bit of water right there. But then when he started bringing up the guys that were out of the business out of wrestling for 10 years, 10-year clips, that was where it got hilarious. But damn it, they turned to look at John Bay fucking hates them.
Yeah. So along with Front Row's comment here, I know I've said it a few times before, especially regarding the Bloodline storyline and what we've seen over the last couple of years with that. But I think it's about damn time that WWE is eligible for Emmy Awards because, you know, okay, so the typical like non-wrestling fan criticism of wrestling is, oh, you think that's real, huh? No, we don't. We're well aware that they're acting and playing characters. And since they are acting and playing characters, we acknowledge and see how extremely talented they are in their live acting and performance.
I always said if it's fake. I always said if it's fake, tell it to Mick Foley's ear that was laying in the middle of a mat, you know, in Germany. So
one of the clips that I always go back to along those lines is back in the day when Roddy Piper was on Bill Maher's show, and he said, "You're telling me it's fake? Go tell Owen Hart's wife that."
Yeah.
Boom. But yeah, so incredible acting, incredible performance, and
such good shit.
Yeah, exactly. Such good shit.
Oh,
such good shit.
Breaking news coming out of Frontline. The fifth man is Oba Femi.
Oh.
And the big man is coming in and tossing all these little men around and throwing elbows, and good Lord.
Okay.
Oh, and in the words of Jim Ross, business is about to pick up.
Well, Ethan Page is still going to kick his ass. So,
we'll see.
He's beating this man like a rented mule. He's a slobber knocker.
All right, so
anyway,
moving right along. WarGames.
You said it wrong.
Obvious. WarGames.
No, you gotta yell WarGames.
I'm not yelling.
Or you do it like
you gotta fire me up a little bit more to get me to yell.
Well, do it. Think you're Rhea. And just do it how she did and headbutt something.
I could do that.
You gotta slap her like Bully slaps Tommy Dreamer to wake him up.
Okay, so the Bloodline WarGames. I think I don't even know where to go with this. I enjoyed the men's WarGames match more than the women's WarGames match, as I think most people did. Even though, oh god, the highlight of the entire show for me was how Rhea Ripley looked. My goodness. But that's besides the point. So what are you guys' thoughts on just the whole how everything unfolded with Punk and on last night on SmackDown we heard from Kevin Owens, he made Michael Cole go out in the cold to talk to him.
Hey, at least it wasn't the NXT parking lot, because we all know that could have went very, very bad on one way or another.
That's true.
I'm not going to go into the WarGames matches themselves, and I agree with you. I did enjoy the men's slightly more than the women's. I thought everybody worked extremely hard and absolutely gave each their best performances. But what I'm more curious about now, especially after last night on the SmackDown, is you have 3 members of the bloodline, respectively, on different sides, out injured. Bronson Reed, broken ankle. Jimmy Uso messed up, I believe it was a knee. And
Tamatanga.
No, the other
Tongaloa.
Tongaloa. No, so there's 2 members of Bloodline 2.0 and one of the original Bloodline that are out for injury. Now what?
Yeah. So where does Solo go from here? I think that's the question.
And granted, yes, he still has Tongaloa and Jacob Fatu, the craziest members of 2.0.
Maybe Axl Rose knows.
Well, but
where do we go from here?
It's coming out of you had all this momentum and the way we thought the story would go, but now it's again, and not that WWE planned for this, but it's something they absolutely now have to consider going forward. How long are they going to be out for and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to see where and how, especially basically on the fly now, that they figure out what they're going to do with the Bloodline story.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to bring up is we heard Zilla Fatu on Busted Open this week. Amazing interview. So if any of you guys missed it, definitely go back and listen to it. Oh my God. Incredible interview. Yeah. So we had talked about in previous weeks about like Zilla and a couple of other family members that are currently on the indies and if they could play a role, if they could come in. And we kind of discussed previously that, we didn't really see that there was any names out there right now that might be big enough to make a big splash, like if they had debuted at Survivor Series or whatever. I do think, so this is something that I thought about the other day. I think I even said it to Tony in text. Since Zilla was on Busted Open this week, and it was an awesome interview, and I think he has a couple other interviews that he's about to do or just did or something. I kind of feel like what they're doing is like it's been rumored for a while that he's going to come into WWE. I think what they're going to do is he's going to kind of make the rounds of the major podcasts and major interviews in order to kind of get his name more out there and get the mainstream fans more familiar with who he is. People like us that pay attention to the indies and stuff like that know who he is, but I'm not sure if the average WWE fan who doesn't pay attention to the indie scene really knows anything about him. And he's still pretty young. Well, so I think it's pretty smart just kind of having him go out there and do interviews, let people get more familiar with him. So by the time he does debut, they're like, oh shit, that's Zilla. I know him. I heard him on Busted Open.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you because myself and Front Row were at WrestleCade last weekend on Saturday night, the Super Show. Zilla Fatu was involved, and all probably 2,000 or so people in the building besides us knew exactly who he was.
Right.
They broke right out into a OTC chant, and Zilla definitely was putting up the ones.
So let me ask you this real quick. WrestleCade is a massive wrestling convention now. It's every year it's getting bigger and bigger. And you guys talked about how huge it was this year compared to even last year. For all the WWE fans that don't really pay attention to the wrestling world outside of WWE, are those kinds of fans even aware of something like WrestleCade, because it's WWE doesn't participate in it? So
I guess,
or is that just for all the other more diehard fans like us?
Well, if you're a wrestling fan in general and aren't at least acknowledging outside companies and organizations or outside events like WrestleCade,
right,
you're wrong, and you need to fix that.
Yeah.
And that might be your opinion, but again, you're wrong.
But there still
and you
is a
do
lot
have
of
a lot
people
of
out
WWE
there.
legends there. You have a lot of legends there. So
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
you
But
have
there
that-
still
that's
is a lot of people out there that are wrestling fans, but just watch Raw and SmackDown. Like they don't really like, that's the kind of the way I was before I started getting into Busted Open. Like I just watched Raw and SmackDown. I wasn't aware of everything else happening. I wasn't involved in the social media stuff to learn about that kind of stuff. There is a lot of people out there that still just aren't in that world.
yes, and that's very true, but it's one of those things, especially in the case of
Ethan's getting
WrestleCade.
thrown in the chamber with Obafemi.
Yeah,
I think just some comedic relief right now.
especially at the expense of Ethan Page, who is Deb's guy. But WrestleCade, especially the big event in New York up by Elder on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's these things that some of these shows are becoming too big for even the most tunnel vision WWE fan to ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
WrestleCade especially, and even the big event in New York.
Well, WrestleCade, WrestleCade is that's pretty much that. If the only other thing that's bigger than that would be the New York Comic Con, and that's a lot more than just wrestling.
Right. But,
right.
If you have even the slightest interest in wrestling, even if this is just WWE, both of those conventions have like Elder said, have a huge older and legend WWE star presence. So even if you're just going to see them, perfect case in point, one of the biggest lines. Now you had over, I'm sure Front Row will correct me, but over 100 to 150 different wrestlers from basically all genres at WrestleCade doing appearances. One of the longest lines on Saturday, where they had an estimated crowd of 12,000 people come through the convention center. Longest line. Team 3D, Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, and Devon Dudley. By far, longest line. And that doesn't count the separate rooms they had for Ric Flair and Darby Allin and Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Longest ride, longest line.
But they were in, Bully Ray and Devon were in with all the rest of the wrestlers doing their appearances, and they had one of the longest lines, period. So,
right. So I know we're kind of getting off on a little bit of tangent here about conventions. It's interesting to me because I know things have really exploded since pandemic, but before pandemic, I was completely unaware that there were conventions or meet and greets at all, other than like WrestleMania Access. Like I had heard of WrestleMania Access and knew that it was kind of expensive to meet the WWE superstars. But I was completely unaware that there was a world out there of meet and greet conventions. So I don't know if it's just gotten so much bigger since the pandemic that it's become kind of so much more well known. But yeah, I don't know. And I didn't really participate in social media wrestling communities and stuff before pandemic. So it was like I just didn't know about that stuff. I didn't know that stuff existed.
Yeah. And look at you now. Look at you now. Now you have your trinkets and adornments behind you. You have a giant Danhausen. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you.
Since thank you for bringing this up. So since I left my La Greca head at the Prudential Center.
Oh yeah, you're never seeing that one again.
I have to. Who do I contact to get another La Greca head?
Epic
we
fail.
might know someone.
Yeah, I think we have someone in the Rolodex we can contact for that.
We might know someone. So I am now displaying some of my awesome wrestling artwork during the show to fill in the space on the couch behind me. So this is artist is AJ Moore, who we all know very well. We see him at all the conventions we go to.
Yes.
And this is his amazing Debhausen painting, which at some point soon I will buy a frame for and put on the wall.
Mhm.
So
Good way to take up the space. And absolutely. And
drawing, not painting.
Yeah, absolutely. AJ is incredibly talented. He does all sports, not just wrestling.
And
sports.
random pop culture stuff too.
Yes. And he is at Good Fit, GUDFIT. Follow him.
Yes.
And look at some of his life and spend some money with him. I have about 10 or 12 of his wrestling prints right now. And
we have a handful.
Someday I will either build a wall here in my house or just, sacrifice one to hang up all physical artwork.
I'm a lover of art, and I know Front Row as well has a lot of wrestling art, mainly from Rob Schamberger. For me personally, I'd rather collect cool artwork like this than like memorabilia or collectibles or whatever, figurines, whatever else. Like I just like art, and if it's wrestling art, then it's for me.
Speaking of wrestling art, breaking news, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge winner was the last man in, the fill-in, Obafemi. Basically beat up four of those smaller men, but he survives and is now the contender for whoever wins between Trick and Ridge tonight.
Okay.
And an interesting side note for this, Nathan Frazier, who just went through a hellacious match of his own in the Iron Survivor. Yes.
Hellacious.
Like that, Deb likes those words.
I love that word.
Remember, Nathan Frazier has to go back and wrestle again with his tag team partner, Axiom, as they defend the NXT tag team titles. So, how is that going to fare? Stay tuned.
All right.
Who knows?
All right. So switching gears a little bit to the AEW side. I wanted to kind of talk about we got the Continental Classic going on right now, which I think is kind of a fan favorite amongst a lot of people. We love tournaments. I think everybody kind of loves tournaments, and the Continental Classic is like it's interesting to me because we get some interesting matchups that kind of shake things up. It's a reason to have kind of a shake up in not only matches but storylines, maybe a jumping off point for new storylines, new rivalries, continuation of storylines that are currently going on about different people involved in different stuff and seeing the matchups as we go through the tournament. So as we go along with the tournament, we'll be talking more about it. It's still kind of early. There's not many points scored at this point.
Right.
Except for Claudio.
Yeah, well, Claudio has 2 wins, so he's up 6 on.
We all know he's inhuman anyway, and that I'm kind of rooting for him.
Yes. So
it's
so with that, with the whole Death Riders thing going on right now, if Claudio wins the Continental Classic, what do you think that could mean as far as the story happening with him and Mox and everything there?
If he was
more
to
gold
win,
for that faction.
Yeah, but the winner of the Continental Classic gets a shot at the world title or the AEW title, I do believe. So, are you going to say that Claudio? What gold are they getting? I think I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
isn't that the title sitting outside the ring? Isn't it a new title? It's the Continental title, not the World title.
Oh, is it for the Continental title?
They have the title sitting right outside the ring that everyone looks at when they go to the
I
ring.
have a terrible memory. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Well, I'm
It's
sure.
seriously one of my favorite shows of the week, and I still can't remember.
Well,
Between the two major federations, there's like 500 fucking titles anyway. So I mean,
I know.
And they created more.
All right. In the chat, if anybody knows exactly what the stake is, the Continental Classic, because I remember last year Okada was the initial winner of it and had a belt and defended it because but is it that you hold it for a year and that's it? Or I'm just so confused as usual.
You're always confused.
Okay.
So yeah, Seth says they win Okada's title. So the title that Okada has had.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess it's just you have the title for the year, and then at the following tournament, you're defending it.
Okay. All right. And yes, Okada is in the tournament, so he has a chance to wrestle his way in and keep his title. Okay.
Okay. So also we have this new.
Thank you, Neil, because and I know you don't like the guy, but thank you. Yeah, he beat Eddie Kingston was the original winner because remember he came out with the New Japan Strong, the ROH, and then the Continental title as well. He had 3 titles at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, and then Okada beat Eddie for it, and Mark Briscoe beat Eddie Kingston for the 39th Ring of Honor.
I want to piss John off for a second. Yeah, remember when Eddie had the Ring of Honor title that you never saw him defend on the Ring of Honor?
Don't blame me. Don't.
So speaking of Ring of Honor, that's an absolutely perfect segue to our next point.
Thank you.
So in Ring of Honor Final Battle at the Hammerstein Ballroom,
right in the windy city of New York.
We are getting Chris Jericho defending his title.
Always ready.
Always ready, Matt Cardona.
The complete Matt Cardona.
The complete Matt Cardona, yes. Oh my God. I love Matt Cardona. I don't give a crap what anybody says. The man is brilliant. I will watch him anywhere, anytime, whether it's an AEW pay-per-view or the Royal Rumble or a high school gym. I don't give a crap.
Yep. There's going to be a banger in Beantown.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And and hopefully it follows suit again, going back to WrestleCade last Saturday night during the Super Show with a match involving Matt Cardona. All 2,000 people simultaneously bringing it into a "We Want Chelsea" chant.
Of course. Come on. He's married to a WWF diva after all.
Yes. But yeah, that because it was not that it was shocking, but they teased it quote unquote live on Dynamite Wednesday that Jericho was going to name. He was doing open challenge and they were going to name his opponent the following night on Ring of Honor, which we all know. I'm sorry, I'm breaking kayfabe. Is taped ahead of time.
Yes.
So it was very interesting to see how they were going to pull this off since they teased it on Wednesday. It absolutely had to be part of the Ring of Honor show Thursday.
Right.
And, they do a whole learning tree segment and Jericho, again, being the master of what he does, aggravating or not as it is, he's doing one of his New York Minute segments. And they named the opponent and they hit Cardona's music and out he comes. And, now we're seeing, but now I believe there's an appearance by Cardona tonight on Collision, which I don't know is live or not. More than likely is taped. Yeah. And
he was on Rampage, and he'll be on Rampage next week. So they're trying. Oh, we're zooming in on Nick's face again.
But
they're trying to get people to watch Rampage before it goes off the air.
Yeah, I guess. But I think it's so cool. And who who better right now than Matt Cardona? You want to get people that absolutely, that's way outside of the AEW and WWE bubble for that matter, because it's been speculated, where is Cardona going to go? But now I absolutely have a reason to watch Final Battle, because not only do I want to see the match, I want to see what the fallout is.
Yes.
Is it just a one-off for Matt? Are we testing the waters of AEW? Is the indie god gonna finally, come back to major television? Who knows?
He
Stay
has
tuned.
said in some of the video promos that he's done, when he introduced his new moniker, the complete Matt Cardona, he has said, he's been the indie god, but he thinks it's time to sign a contract again.
Okay,
So
I'm about to become very distracted because the next match coming to the ring is Lola Vice versus Miss Jada Parker in the Underground match. So,
I thought you were gonna say it was the Julia Stephanie Vicaire.
No, that's later. But this right now is absolutely the match.
Well, at that point when that comes on, we're gonna lose Neil. So
right. But right now, Lola Vice first in the ring.
The ring ropes are down. My dogs go crazy. Watch my screen. I'll be back in a second. They're nuts.
Oh Jesus.
God only knows what's going to zoom in on now. Oh no, we'll just look at Nick for the next 5 minutes. Perfect. Perfect.
My God,
Perfect
that is
segue.
Absolutely amazing.
Perfect. Keep going. It's like he's still here.
It's like Nick's on our show. I don't know. Oh Jesus. Okay, where were we? Cardona. Yes. So all right. So yes, you were saying Chris Jericho did a New York Minute. For all the people out there who don't appreciate Chris Jericho for what he is, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. The man is brilliant. And
once again,
oh my God, we were dying. We were watching that little promo segment. I'm pretty sure we all had tears coming down our faces.
It's annoying. Absolutely. He is absolutely annoying, but that's the point. That's the whole point. The man is absolutely playing all of us like fine orchestra instruments. Absolutely. And has done it at such a high level. The time is going to come that we don't see Chris Jericho in wrestling anymore. And then, much like many others, like John Cena, you realize how good he is and was.
He's so good.
I get it. I don't think that this Chris Jericho is just another. Go fuck yourself. Shut up and enjoy it. It's fucking brilliant what he's doing.
Yeah, it is. And he consistently finds new ways to not only irritate people, but just show off different aspects of his personality.
Oh, God,
and
these women are violent.
Every time you think like the character he's doing is starting to get old, he just freshens it up a little bit with something new. It's just crazy. And like Bully keeps saying, you will miss him when he's gone. No matter what you say, you will miss him when he's gone.
Dear Lord. Oh, both of these women choosing violence. I like it.
There's a lot of violence. I don't see any cake.
No.
Oh man, cake and violence. That's my jam.
I know.
But no cake unless there's some afterwards. That might be all they're able to chew by the time they're done beating the hell out of each other. But anyway, stay on topic.
All right. Anything else you guys wanted to discuss on the AEW front before we go?
No, but and this is a theme we keep coming back to. AEW doesn't tell stories.
Yes, they do.
Shit.
Stop.
Absolutely, they do. I'm more interested. The Continental Classic is fantastic because it's a quick, easy way for us to get fantasy matches and dream bookings and whatever on a weekly basis while it's going on. And then that is perfect. But what's the fallout? What's the next move for the Death Riders? Who is their next target is? You know, we saw an unlikely alliance kind of form between Orange Cassidy, who is absolutely the hero right now.
Yes.
Jay White, King Switch himself, who has suddenly become an uber baby face. And you throw in the wild card of now Cowboy shit himself, Hangman Adam Page. You know, and
yes.
you still have Darby doing Darby things in the background. So it's absolutely they're not hot-shotting this at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know who is exactly behind it. I have a feeling it's Moxley orchestrating this whole thing. And they're just TK is actually being smart and saying, go ahead, fellas, do what you want to do.
Wait, you mean TK doesn't do everything by himself?
Apparently,
I've been led to believe that the man just doesn't listen to anyone and he just does whatever he wants.
Well,
yep.
There's plenty of evidence of that as well, but we won't go into that. But for right now, whoever say, yeah, go ahead, let them keep cooking.
Yeah.
Let's just say sometimes the word because can be thrown out just like it used to be thrown out with another famous another big promoter who kind of didn't want to listen to everybody's advice, but
well,
yeah,
and we don't and you know what, we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't
know.
We only go by the frustration that certain wrestlers that we know and trust have to certain things that happen. But that
and everybody's going to have a different opinion.
And the certain wrestlers that we listen to for that opinion don't rag on it. They don't hate what's going. They don't hate AEW. They're not shills for any company. No matter what the neckbeards in social media say.
Yeah.
Who cares about
the point? Yeah. So back to something John said that I wanted to expand on about Hangman Adam Page. So I know there's been a lot of, especially over the last, year or so, kind of a lot of people are like, oh, is Hangman a face? Is he a heel? He does heel things. The fans cheer and blah, blah, blah. I think we are at a point where no matter what Hangman does, the AEW fans just love him.
Yes.
The man burned a man's house down, and we are still cheering cowboy shit.
When Stone Cold Steve Austin beat the ever-living shit out of Jake the Snake and drag that carcass out of my ring, was he a heel or a face? When he stunned Vince McMahon, was he a heel or a face? But he stunned everybody. So he stunned anyone that got in the way of his foot and fist. He stunned them.
Yes.
Whether they drank a beer, whether they clanked beers or not, they clanked a beer, took a sip, and they got stunned. So,
and I think that's point. Hangman for the AEW audience.
Hangman is an angry man. He's not a heel or a face. He's just pissed off. That's all.
Yeah.
Don't piss him off. He's doing his cowboy shit.
Moral of the story, don't piss him off.
Yeah.
Cowboy shit.
That's all.
Okay. All right. Anything else? What's happening on
Jada
Deadline
and
right
Lola
now?
are beating the crap out of each other. That's
these
what's going on.
Two women are just going full ham on each other.
It's like distracting me and John. Like I'm like, because without the sound or anything, or the or Booker T.
Well, you don't need the sound. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I don't. I have the sound very low.
You don't need to hear commentary.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone out there, it's a much more enjoyable show when you have the sound down and you don't have to hear Booker T. No disrespect to Vic Joseph, but.
Yeah. So I have said this before. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but I know I've said it to you guys like in Zoom and stuff. It would be awesome, especially for people like Steven, our blind friend who relies on commentary to get an idea of what's happening and be able to visualize it. It would be awesome if you could just like mute one commentary mic but listen to the other one. Like if Steven could watch NXT and hear Vic Joseph, but not Booker.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yo, I'm not a hater or anything. Take Booker out. I
love Booker. I just don't want to hear him on commentary.
Him go like this for 2 hours behind the table. Make him a
Yeah.
effing manager and let him talk for 4 minutes on some promo. But please.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Go backstage and call the show like you did for the boys back in the day. Go do it back there where we don't have to hear. Go back behind the effing curtain because you're annoying the fuck out of me. There, I said it. I don't give a fuck. Hall of Fame.
Hey, we have hope.
Your wife didn't deserve to be Hall of Famer either. Queen Charmel. What the hell did you do?
To go outside of things a little bit for a second, we have hope with that. It's been announced and confirmed. Pat McAfee is coming back to commentary. Probably sooner than later because now we're into playoffs and everything for college football. So Pat will be back.
January is what I saw. Yeah.
So maybe when Pat comes back, at least for a little while, they shuffle everybody up and Booker gets shuffled out and Vic Joseph gets a new partner on NXT.
But it doesn't look like Booker T's going anywhere. I don't know. He should go back to reality of wrestling and really go with the WWID guys and work with them.
That's obviously something he is very, very good at.
All right,
so since everybody can go watch the rest of NXT Deadline,
that's what we'll
go ahead and wrap this up. And AEW Collision is gonna start in a couple minutes, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So, John, where can people find you?
I am at Twisted Mother Fab on the Twitter machine and the Instagram, and also on Instagram you can keep up with the newly stickered. Shout out to the American Kaiju Lindsay Snow and our very own Izzy Moreno, who absolutely put fresh stickers on the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling. And yes, for those wondering, there were plans to have the most dangerous weapon in wrestling, and that's out of line. That's a fucking tragedy. There was a chance, or I should say, there were plans for AK9K to play a prominent role in the hardcore match between Master Slamovich and Lindsay Snow at WrestleCade, although it didn't quite work out that way. But anyway, you can follow his exploits on Instagram at AssKicker9K.
Hi, Mongrovian.
I just want to say you can see me at Mongrovian Mike. Find me at Mongrovian Mike. I'm raising my hammers high for the Mighty Man of War that I saw last Saturday at Brooklyn's King's Theater. Man of War, one of the loudest bands ever. 72-year-old Eric Adams screaming his fucking head off. It's just unbelievable. And, if you're a fan of 80s and 90s metal, go and see these bands while you can, because they're all getting friggin' old as fuck, but they're still out there kicking ass. Some of them are kicking ass better. These 70-plus year guys are doing better job than some of the 20-year-old bands out there now. That shit. And
for real.
Yeah. Oh, fuck Taylor Swift. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Death to false metal.
Anyway, I love Taylor Swift.
Leave the hall.
And I love metal too. So
wimps and posers, leave the hall.
Anywho, I am at That's So Debonair on all of my socials, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, all that bullshit. Go find it. Go click the link. Blah blah blah. We are at the at Nation's Corner on Twitter and Blue Sky. At the Nation's Corner on everything else, Instagram, all that. Blah blah blah. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.